The other thing that I had to do was jumping in with both feet was getting uncomfortable. I really wanted to sit on the sidelines. It's safe on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But I had to get uncomfortable. So be okay with getting uncomfortable and allow yourself, because it's only when we get uncomfortable that we actually grow.
Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We're here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life that you love that inspires others to do the same. I'm Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future. Now, we have a very special episode this week for many reasons. But first, I want to introduce you to someone very special, someone who you are going to get to know very well. She is a wrein alumni and a remarkable real estate investor. Her success comes from her inspiring, unstoppable, can-do attitude and perseverance to work until she not only crushes her goals, but soars past them. You have been waiting for season 2. And I am so excited to have a friend and a student join us as the brand new co-host of Without Fear of Her Future podcast. We've all been waiting for this amazing moment, and we are thrilled to have Melissa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tresa. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and so excited for season 2 of this podcast.
Well, so am I. I'm excited for all of our listeners to finally know who the special guest is. It's going to be so much fun because we are friends and we do share real estate. We share our faith. We just share a lot of things. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. And I believe that our listeners are going to really enjoy this on a whole different dimension. So excited for season 2. All right. So I want you to tell our listeners about your journey. Can you start with just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So I'm local here in the DFW area. I lived in Frisco, Texas for 25 years and have just recently moved to Grapevine. I was in Frisco raising 2 daughters who are now 19 and 21. So they're off on a new season, which is exciting as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And you have been a fitness instructor.
I have. I've been a fitness instructor for 15 years is what has led me to this point.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay. So yeah. How did you get into investing in real estate and what made you decide to jump in?
So this takes us back just a little bit. My parents actually are real estate investors. I talked to my dad and say he kind of stumbled on it, did it by accident. He says there was no accident, but it kind of was. They had bought a duplex for my sister to live in, and it was fully rented and was cash flowing when he bought it. And he realized that and said, well, it's kind of silly of me to kick somebody out. And so he bought another house for my sister, and things just kind of started. Now, this was 30 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So he has a nice little portfolio, he and my mom, of rental properties. Well, when COVID hit, it kind of made a lot of people take a look at their life, reevaluate things. And he realized that they needed to get their affairs in order. And as they were doing that, they were asking me and my sister, hey, we have these properties. Do we sell them? Should we keep them? Well, they're all paid off. They're part of my parents' retirement plan. And we were like, no, you keep them. This is, it's great. But it made me start thinking that I don't really know much about real estate investing. I don't know about rental properties. And I need to look into this and start learning. And it was about that time that the wrein started popping up in my social media.
Okay. When you say wrein popped up, I'm thinking that you saw an ad for Without Fear of Her Future masterclass.
I did.
And you decided to go through the 7 days of masterclass and specialized knowledge. Okay, tell us from that. What did you think going through the masterclass, and then what made you decide to jump in?
Well, the details that you give in the masterclass, first of all, made me realize that I could do this, and this was something that I needed to do. So I joined the mentorship right away. Started in January, and within 3 weeks closed on my first property.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love it. I love that. So tell us, how has investing literally changed your life?
This has given me, I feel like it's given me a kind of a footprint towards my retirement. I really didn't have a retirement plan in place, and not a lot of savings built up. I worked a lot of odd jobs. I was a single mom for 9 years. I worked a lot of odd jobs, different things here and there, and didn't have a retirement account. And that has been heavy on me. So now with this, I do see where this can lead as far as retirement. And it also gives me a vision for a legacy that I want to leave my kids.
Yes. Yes. You know, I think so many women are right here. I actually had a retirement, but I realized that it wasn't enough to truly retire. And I think really that is where most women are when they hit the 40, 50, even 60 years, whether it was odd jobs or whether you stayed with one job forever. Most women, when they really take a look at their finances, do not have a true retirement that they can be secure with and live a life that is enjoyable. And I think real estate is just a fantastic way, even at our, you know, I want to say I'll say mid, I was going to say late age. I'll just say mid age.
Don't make us older than we are, Tresa.
Right, that's right. It gives hope for women like us.
Yes.
That you can, hey, if you're getting a late start, we can still do this.
Yes.
And which is amazing. And so you've not ever been afraid to jump in. Like you said, you've had several different jobs.
I was afraid. Let's not forget the be brave part, because I was very afraid. But I know myself. And when I joined the mentorship, I had put, good money into this program. And I know myself well enough that if I didn't jump in with both feet, I would be the one sitting in the stands, kind of watching everybody else do their thing and succeed. And I would be learning, but not really. I have to learn by doing.
Yeah.
And I know that about myself. So I needed to jump in right away and get busy with it, even if it meant making a few mistakes.
Absolutely. And you have to be willing to do that. If you wait until you're ready, you're never ready.
Never.
No. And I just have to mention, because you said you had invested in yourself into the mentorship.
Yes.
And I think that is pivotal. Pivotal. Is that a word? Well,
it is today.
If you just get something that you did not have to invest into, then you are so much more likely not to use it, even though everything you need is there. If you didn't invest in yourself to have access to that, you think it's always there. I'll do it later. But when you invest in yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, I put money into this. I only have access to this thing for this amount of time.
Yes.
I think it pressures you to actually
jump
into action.
It does. And that's where the coaching, now it was a little bit different. This was a couple of years ago, with the coaching and the mentor calls, is that you only had so long to have access to the coaches.
Yeah.
And there was just a couple of weeks, I believe, is what we had. And I wanted to take advantage of that as much as I could during that time that I had, for sure.
Well, you certainly did.
Yes.
You certainly did. You jumped in, did deals. And so just tell us a little bit about the community of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and the deals that you have done.
Sure.
And your portfolio and all that.
Well, I know I couldn't have done what I've done without the network. On almost every deal I've done, I'm on my 6th flip now.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. 6 flips. I have a rental property and I am a private money lender. And those things I learned how to do through the network. And in most of my flips, the 6 flips I've done, either I bought it from a wholesaler in the network, or they were a private money lender, or they were my stager, or they played a role in the process of me getting the home. I JV'd with a couple. So it has definitely helped me not do it alone.
Yes.
And, when I did do a flip by myself that was solely mine, I still had a private money lender from the group, and my stager from the group and realtor. But I wasn't alone. The network was there, which was priceless.
It is. I agree. Yeah. Especially as women, to have just this community of people that are rooting for you, that can help answer your questions, and that everything is there. Somebody's there to lend the money on the deal. Somebody is there. And then you turn around and lend money to us. That's amazing. I always love to give a shout out to all of the women who are loaning money, because not only are they building wealth for themselves, but they're helping another woman in the network streams come through and building wealth for them. And like you said, you can find stagers, you can find realtors, you can find all the things that you need in one place.
And it's women supporting women, which is awesome.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. All right. So let's talk a little bit, which you just kind of did, about your authority. Why our listeners why should they trust your advice and your experience?
Well, I don't know that I would call it authority, but because I've been where a lot of our listeners are. I've been, I didn't come to the table with real estate investing knowledge, even though my parents were investors. I didn't know anything about their business and what they were doing. So I don't come with the knowledge, and I didn't come to the table with a lot of money. I used other people's money to do all of my deals.
Yeah.
So I've been through the masterclass to get that little taste of what is in the mentorship and in the network. And then I've jumped in and I've gone through all of the trainings and the coaching and the mentoring through you. So I've been where they are.
And then, of course, just your actual experience. That's what's priceless. To do that many deals in that short of time and have the success that you've had, that is amazing. I hope that you are really proud of yourself.
I am, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Well, let's just talk about that. What are your goals for 2023?
Well, I still have 3 flips on the books that I want to get off the books and taken care of. That's my first action there. And then I want to start building my rental portfolio. I have one long-term rental right now, but I'm looking to build more. I really want to go after that passive income. I enjoy the flipping. It is fun. It's hard work. I do enjoy it, but I do want to move into some other strategies as well. And the rentals is something I definitely want to get into.
Yep. I think for most of us, it's really a lot of fun and necessary to do the flips, do the wholesaling, because that's where you can just build up, this cash flow. And then once you've done that, if you love it, then you can stay in that as long as you want. But if you want to move away to more passive investing, it's possible. And not that you can't do those things immediately, because you've already got a rental right from the beginning. And I just have to say this because I just happen to know. I know that on one of your flips, you did extremely well. Can you just share with our listeners what your profit was?
Yes. This was the first flip that I did all by myself, my solo flip. And it was a flip that honestly was a bit frustrating because it took much longer than it was supposed to. I was expecting it to take 4 to 6 months at the most, and it ended up being 11 months. And on that particular flip, we almost took it from foundation up. It just had some walls. I had to reconfigure the whole floor plan, add the bathrooms and kitchen back in. And we ended up selling that property, and I made $90,000 on that one. And that was one that I was worried about where we were going because it took so long, and all I could see was all the interest I was paying. My private money lender was loving me, I promised, because she did well on that one.
Oh, and so did you. So it was truly a win-win.
We did, yes.
Truly a win-win. Yeah, I mean, every time I hear someone talk about that $90,000 on one flip while you're doing other things and while you're acquiring a rental and you're all of these other things, that was more than I made in a year's salary in my job at the end of a 25-year career. So, I mean, that's just incredible. That is truly life-changing.
It is.
That is truly life-changing. And that's what I want our listeners to hear, that Melissa came to the table like most women without any experience, without a lot of money. It's so possible.
And that particular flip that you're talking about that we had the success on, it was really the picture perfect flip, because not only did I make money on that flip, but my private money lender made a lot of money. My realtor made money. My stager made money. My contractor made money. Everybody involved made money. Yes. The people that sold me the house made money. I mean, everybody made money on that deal. And it was really cool to watch that process unfold and to see it working.
Yeah. Even though it was frustrating along the way. And that's what we have to do as investors, really, as anybody that's an entrepreneur. We have to be willing to work through the frustrations, overcome, not give up, and not say, oh, I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you find that there's less frustrations the more you do it, because you learn and you get better. You make better decisions. You get, all of those things.
Experience is a great teacher.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So you've kind of chosen to concentrate on flips for a little bit, but you're saying you're ready to move into some.
I do. I want to keep flipping maybe 1 or 2 a year, because I do enjoy that. I love the creative side of that, but I really want to start moving into more passive income with rentals for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just seems, and the private money lending. I've loved that. I love supporting my sisters in the network and being able to help them with their dreams as well.
Yep. Yep. And I know that you started lending a lot sooner than you ever dreamed of.
I did, but that was again because of the network and the specialized knowledge that I got. I didn't know that I could take my 401k and do anything with it. And it was sitting there not making hardly anything. And I flipped it into turned it into a self-directed IRA and was able to lend it out. And now it's making a lot more money than it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting sitting there, it's typically making 3-4%.
Yes.
And private money lenders, we can lend that money out at 10-12%.
Yes.
And I mean, that's huge. And we're still, again, that's a short-term loan. So it's still very profitable for you, but it's also doable for someone else that needs to borrow that money to get their flip done, or to even get if they want to use it to renovate a rental and then refinance. So, you can use other people's money for all of the strategies that we teach. And that's what's incredible. All right. So, Melissa, we always ask our guests for 3 takeaways.
Okay.
And you're my guest today, even though you're my co-host.
Okay.
What are 3 things that you would advise an investor or an entrepreneur who is looking to be brave and grow, or is perhaps feeling stuck where they are?
Well, let's start with a couple of the things that I did that I would say don't do. First of all, as you're listening and hearing stories, women posting in our network, wherever, don't compare yourself or your journey, because there were a lot of women who jumped in and went faster than I did, had more properties, or were doing bigger deals than I was. And I kind of felt like, oh, I'm not doing, but I knew what I could handle. So I had to stop that comparing game, knowing that I was on my own journey, and I needed to just kind of set my own goals of what I needed this to be, and move forward in that way. So I would say stop comparing. The other thing that I had to do was jumping in with my both feet, which was getting uncomfortable. That was really uncomfortable. I really wanted to sit on the sidelines. It's safe on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But I had to get uncomfortable. So be okay with getting uncomfortable and allow yourself, because it's only when we get uncomfortable that we actually grow. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And the third thing I think would be taking control of your thoughts. The Bible does tell us to take every thought captive. And that's because there's a lot of things that go on in our head and our minds that aren't accurate, a lot of negative thoughts.
I can't do it. What was I thinking?
Yes, it's too much for me. I'm going to lose money. All the things. And that just fear sets in and you get paralyzed. And you can't have that. So you've got to take those thoughts and really dive into the positive things, knowing that we can do this. It is doable.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I want to go back to the first thing you said, is not comparing, is we're all in different seasons.
Yes.
And so if someone may do 2 or 3 deals a year, and that is still success, where somebody else is doing 7, 8, deals a year, because we're all in a different season. We're all, some of us are still raising kids or taking care of parents or whatever it is. Maybe and some ladies have a job that they truly love. That is their calling, and they just want to do a little bit of this on the side. So that I love that. And then, of course, the last thing you said about taking your thoughts captive. Boy, we are our worst enemies. And we really so many times we have trouble believing in ourselves. We think everybody else is smarter than us, or has more resources, or they have more money, or they have. And when we really bring all that down and take captive of it and say, wait a minute, I can do this. God wants me to do this. I can be blessed so that I can be a blessing, and take control of those thoughts, and then just move forward. What you just said, getting out of our comfort zone, getting out. If we never get out of our comfort zone, first of all, you just said it, we won't grow.
Right.
And most of the time we're not going to create wealth sitting in our comfort zone.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, this has been great. You guys gave us 3 great takeaways, but now we also like to challenge our listeners for the week. And so, just to wrap up, what would you challenge our listeners to do this week that would help them to move forward powerfully in their life or in their business?
So with that, I would say I am a procrastinator. And I love to make lists, my to-do lists. And I love to checky line through my list is what we call it in my family. And because, one check is not enough in the line through. So we checky line through our lists. And I would make lists, my to-do list, and I would go and I would do the little things that I could get done really quick. So it looked like I got a lot done during the day. But really at the end of the day, I hadn't done that much because the one thing that I didn't want to do, the big thing, was always still on my list. So I would say, do the one thing that you don't want to do, or that one thing that you're really procrastinating. Take care of that first. That way you get a lot more done in the daytime. Because if you get the big thing over with,
everything else is gravy.
Everything else is easy. Yeah.
I agree.
Just flow through your day.
I agree. You know what I have also found is so many times that thing that we're procrastinating, the thing that we're just putting off, sometimes I have an email sitting and I don't want to open it because I think, it's going to require, I've got to do. And, you finally sit down, you've made the time, and you open the email and it literally took you 2 minutes to do what you've been procrastinating.
Yes.
So many times we think it's going to be harder. Just get it done.
Yes.
Just get it done. Most of the time, it's not even going to be as difficult as you thought it was going to be.
I recently learned that procrastination, and I wish I could remember where I heard this, because I would love to give credit, but that procrastination is because of it's an emotion. There's an emotion tied to what we're doing, and we're we kind of avoid that emotion. And when I sat down to think about it, I thought, oh my goodness, that's right.
Yeah.
That is why I don't want to do it, because of, just do it, get it done, get it over with, and then move on.
Yeah. I just heard Mel Robbins make the comment to not say I'm a procrastinator, but to say, I have a habit of procrastinating, instead of calling yourself a procrastinator, and saying, I have a habit of procrastinating that I plan to change.
Yes, that's me. Yeah. Sign me up for that. I'm changing that habit.
And that was our challenge to all of our listeners today. What are you procrastinating this week? What is the one thing, and it, even as you're listening to us talk, what is that thing that you could do that may change everything for you this week? Just to go have that hard conversation, to just do what that one thing is, whatever it is, just do it. And that's what's going to move you forward in this life and in your business. And so if you have not subscribed to Without Fear of Her Future podcast, then hit that subscribe button today for new episode reminders, and leave us a review on our podcast page.
Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and Tresa Todd, I'm Melissa Baker, encouraging you to be brave and dream big.